talking like in the party, yeah. Face niggas try me, yeah. I rock Balenciaga with Tommy, yeah. Pull that cause behind me, yeah. These little niggas ain't
Yes, sir. 2 days in a row. We back with another video. This is gonna be a little reaction. The real Tech K story. So we ain't even gonna waste no time. We're gonna get straight into it.
After he was first arrested last year, a juvenile court judge released him. He cut off an ankle monitor and has since been connected to more crimes.
A dark SUV seen on surveillance video speeding away after the shooting.
Teenager wanted for a murder and a violent robbery back in front of a juvenile court judge today after months on the run.
Little badass nigga.
Teen rapper Tay-K as police question him about his role in a deadly home invasion in Mansfield.
This nigga crying.
Tamor McIntyre was born June 16, 2000 in California. His father, Kevin Beverly, was a gang member from Compton, and his mom was part of the Baby Insane Crips gang in Long Beach. This would unfortunately lead to his dad's imprisonment during Tamor's youth. With his dad behind bars, his mother would do her best to raise him and his sister while he was away, but without a father figure around, it was hard for him to find guidance. Playing football, listening to Soulja Boy and Chief Keef were some of the only distractions he had for his frustration that was building up. At 8 years old, his mom moved them to Las Vegas for about a year and a half before his father was finally released from prison. In hopes of providing a better life for their family, they moved once again to the east side of Arlington, Texas.
So these niggas were just all over the place.
By the time Tamor was attending Martin High School, he was already beginning to rap on his free time. He and his friends would form a rap group called the Daytona Boys. The group consisted of Santana Sage, Pimps, and Tamor himself, who would rap under the name Tay-K. The group started recording their first songs together throughout 2014. Within just 1 year, they were already doing small live performances around Texas, and Tay-K was releasing solo tracks like Biff Zanin. Feeling like the group was on the right track, they continued to push their music as they were getting a small amount of recognition. Although music was the focus, Tay-K states his parents weren't always around, and he had to provide for himself.
Nigga, they was
sometimes even
gangbanging
finding
like
places
you,
to stay
my
at
nigga.
night. The Daytona Boys wouldn't last long as a group due to their reckless behavior that would ultimately cost an innocent girl her life.
Tripping.
The fatal shooting involved an exchange of words between two carloads of people who just left a party New Year's morning 2016. 20-year-old.
On December 31st, 2016, the Daytona Boys were having another show in Arlington. After the performance, they left the show and pulled up to a red light where another vehicle was stopped. The car next to them was being driven by a female college student, along with 3 other passengers.
Who is that?
The Daytona Boys attempted to catcall the females at the red light, until a male passenger rolled down the window and threatened to beat the Daytona Boys up. Santana Sage, who was driving the group, rolled down his window, pointed a gun, and fired 2 shots. One of the bullets would hit the driver of that car. 21-year-old Sarah Mushlanger was pronounced dead.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Eric Jamal Johnson, guilty of the offense of murder.
That nigga don't even care.
Just days later, Santana Sage would be arrested for the murder, but Tay-K and Pimps would not be charged with anything since they were only passengers and minors at the time. Some would say their lack of punishment for even being involved in this type of event only made them feel more invincible. The Daytona Boys would break up after Sage was sentenced to 44 years behind bars.
God
Tay-K would
damn.
continue to get even more involved with the
Fuck is
streets
this
as he
nigga
was still
throwing up?
attempting to get his rap career off the ground. Everything was about to change though. On July 26, 2016, Tay-K along with 6 other people had formulated a plan to hit a lick on a house they knew had drugs in it. There was a house located on the 1500 block of Mansfield, Texas, where a man named Zachary
That
Ballou
nigga
was
look
staying.
like a snitch.
He was believed to have drugs and money on him.
Go get it back in
They
blood,
would have
little
2
nigga.
girls who were already familiar with the target
Yeah.
get inside the house and make it seem like they just wanted to smoke and chill. Tay-K and a few other men would be waiting close by for a text message from the girls on when to storm the house. They planned to take whatever money and loot they could find and leave. This house was already on record for multiple police reports for drug-related activity, leaving them to believe they could get away with this. Unfortunately, the day of, things quickly spiraled out of control. When the girls arrived, they were surprised to see a lot more people in the home than they expected. This pushed the plans back as they waited hours for the right opportunity to unlock the door for Tay-K and the others. The girls began to become anxious and were acting suspicious as the day turned to night. Around 10 p.m. they finally had enough and decided to go ahead with their plan. They unlocked the door, sent the text message, and shortly after 4 men stormed in with guns out. They pointed them at both Zachary and his roommate Ethan. As TK and the others began looking for the cash, they came short of finding anything. Tension then rose as they became impatient, waiting for them to hand it over. They then replied that they didn't have any money.
Oh my
Alright,
god.
here with League of Legends. Now you're gonna be saying wow every time you play this video game. Now look at this.
Get out of there.
After a few minutes of hesitation, shots rang off, wounding Zachary and killing 21-year-old Ethan Walker. With so many people involved, it didn't take long for the police to charge all 7 with capital murder.
Damn.
He was brought in for questioning in this confession tape, where he admitted to being present but was not the one who shot the gun. Because he was underage, TK would be placed on house arrest while he awaited his trial. He continued to release music, but after 8 months on house arrest, he took to the internet to tweet this before cutting his ankle monitor and going on the run.
Little
While on the run,
badass
his tweet
nigga,
would begin
man.
to circulate online, and people began to wonder who this 16-year-old kid was. His first stop was in San Antonio, where he seemed to disregard the fact that he was wanted for murder.
Yeah, that picture
While in a
hard
Chick-fil-A
though. I ain't
parking lot,
gonna
he got
lie.
into an altercation with the photographer he had planned on setting up. When he resisted and wouldn't give up his camera and equipment, he tried to flee the car. He then hopped on the hood and began smashing the windshield out of frustration. Instead of pulling off, TK allegedly got out of the car and shot 23-year-old Mark Anthony, leaving his body in the street. TK and his affiliates then ditched the car in a nearby restaurant before picking up a new car where they would head to New Jersey. While in the Elizabeth, New Jersey area, he was staying with friends recording new music.
Bro,
By
what the
now,
fuck is
US
this nigga
Marshals were
throwing up,
aggressively
yo?
looking for him.
And who the fuck is
He was
that?
wanted for 2 murders as well as an alleged robbery of a 65-year-old man in New Jersey. While in hiding, he recorded new music as well as videos. One of the songs he recorded was titled The Race, where he literally rapped about being on the run.
Hey, that bitch
As
dropped on
each
my
day passed, his
birthday.
name was
See what we
circulating a little
doing,
more
nigga.
as people were tuning into this story. Finally, on June 30th, 2017, after 3 months of being on the run, he was captured and taken into custody. The same day he was caught, he released a music video for The Race online, where it would go viral due to the situation at hand.
Court judge decided that he should be held here.